Invitational. And the weather changes again. Rain is forecast. The wind is going north. And the temperatures are headed down. Way upriver is Denny Brauer, who was in second place this morning. This Missouri angler is considered one of the best jig fishermen on the Bassmaster Tournament Trail. He has a reputation for making long boat runs to get to areas not visited by other anglers. And he also has an excellent knowledge of the bass.
Basically, what I'm trying to key on is some of these outside bushes that are actually where the old shoreline was. They're sitting out there in about 7-8 foot of water, and that's about how much the lakes come up. And I'm thinking some of those bigger female fish are staging right there, getting ready to go to the bank to spawn. Now, so far, all I've been catching is the male fish. In practice, I could get some of them 7- and 8-pound female fish. And hopefully today I can get 1 or 2 of them and end up winning this tournament. So far this morning, I've been able to catch 2 little bitty old males, but before the day's over, I might be pretty proud of them. But I'm just slow falling the jig into those bushes and just shaking it around, and the fish are not aggressive at all. You really have to try to make them bite. If your jig falls too fast, or if you splash the water too much with it, you're not going to catch one. They're real spooky.
But the last day weigh-in takes on a whole new look.
Folks, here's a man who has been this year holding on for the first time the Angler of the Year race. He's won everything just about in the world but that. Never won the Angler of the Year race. He is leading a race to the Classic this year where we will determine the Angler of the Year. That's Rick Clunn, 3 times Bassmaster Classic champion. Let's give him a nice welcome as he comes forth, folks. 23 pounds and 9 ounces before this morning began. Rick Clunn is 3 days a solid limit. The man is incredible. Watch the scales. 19 pounds. 8 ounces. Mark it. All right, let's give a nice hand and reach in and get the 2 big bass. People, these are incredibly beautiful bass. Get the big one over there as well, and I'll hold a little one just to show people that I can hold one up. Folks, these are just 3 of 6. Folks, this is it. This is what it's about. Gee whiz. All right, now that it's over, we want somebody to say, what in the world did you catch? We'll interview you later. Want to weigh that one, of course. That fish is going to go, how much, Rick?
Oh, about 6 1/4.
On a bet?
No.
6.5, just for fun. All right, the weight? 6.15. You would have lost again. Man, that's a fine fish. You ought to know better than that. You're just being timid. We'll talk to you more later, and let's sweat it out. You know, you're right now, if I'm not mistaken, he is clearly in the lead.
It appears there are only 3 anglers who can catch him.
Rick Clunn leading the tournament at the moment with 43 pounds and 1 ounce. Guido Hibden has to have 12 pounds to take the lead back. He has a full limit of bass added to his 31 pounds of yesterday. Weight today, 10 pounds and 3 ounces, and that's going to make you fall a little bit short of Rick Clunn.
Well, I've had a good tournament. You know, I've enjoyed myself. The fish that I got on was a bunch of flipping fish, and I was flipping right along with everybody else. I just taken a lot more time to get the big bites. But I never landed one of the big fish that I got a hold of. I had a decent fish yesterday. The first day I lost 8 or 9 fish that would go over 5 pounds, and 2 of them was better than 10. Yesterday I lost 3 fish that would go better than 8 pounds, and today Tony Wilson tried to get a hold of 2, and we worked at it. I had a hold of 2. One of them was about 8 or 9, something like that, and then an 8-pounder was right up the boat. He was trying to get his hands on it, just couldn't do it.
You fishing, he gets it?
No, I was flipping a jig.
Throwing a jig. Stalani Stanley jig, I'm sure.
Well, it was a jig. You know, if Denny Brauer had got on the same bunch of fish I got on, this thing would have been history. He could have been Angler of the Year this year.
Isn't that something? Well, it's not over yet. We still have 1 tournament to go, and Clunn hadn't won it yet, you know.
Well, Ricky's a great fisherman. You know, I fished hard all year, and so is Ricky, and he's a great fisherman.
All right, congrats. Let's give a nice hand, folks. Great sport. I think he's lost for the lead here for the moment.
And Missouri's Denny Brauer.
Here's the way it stands. Rick Clunn leading the tournament with 43 pounds, 1 ounce. Guido Hibden with 41 pounds, 4 ounces in second place. Hold it a minute. Denny Brauer, who just stepped up the scales, has 30 pounds, 9 ounces, and he needs something about 13 pounds to take the lead, and he ain't got it. Denny Brauer, your weight today, 10 pounds and 13 ounces, and that's still a spectacular show. Let's give a nice hand. Denny Brauer, good job. Angler of the Year last season.
And the last challenger.
Stacy King, I'm looking at him here. It needs 14 pounds, 3 ounces to take the lead. He has a limited bass. His weight today, 12 pounds, 12, which will not quite make it. But let's give him a nice hand. He's going to be way up in the money and has done a spectacular job.
And the Bassmaster Arkansas Invitational champion,
Man, we're very proud
Rick
to know
Clunn,
with a weight
an
of
8-time
42 pounds
BASS
and 4
winner.
ounces. Let's have a real round of applause for our good friend, Rick Clunn. All right, Rick, all the best, my friend. Rick, on behalf of Bass and all of the fellows that are here in this tournament that know what a tremendous angler you are and a great fellow you are, we want to say a special congratulations to you. And if I may ask you a few questions, I know that a lot of the fishermen and the spectators are interested in. You had a strategy for this tournament. You came up from about 14th place, I guess, to take this tournament. What was the plan exactly?
Well, Ray, there's something about, I'll tell you that, but there's something about, I think this is the 5th event that I've come from 13th place to win the event. So there's something about that. When last night I saw us in 13th place, and then also it's the 13th boat leaving this morning. Something was working on my side, I guess, but my strategy basically was I was hoping that these fish were not on the beds very strong because I was scared to death of Guido getting on those bedding fish. And as he showed you, he doesn't necessarily need bedding fish because he almost pulled this one out. And I was fishing pre-spawn fish. I was going back in the coves and starting on the little secondary points and then working as the day progressed and the water warmed, I was working my way back toward the backs of the coves. There was fish already spawning in the backs, but I really didn't want to mess with them. I was trying to catch those fish that haven't really moved on beds yet. And I started off staying in the murky water because we had some sunny days, and I was throwing a full 1-ounce Stanley spinnerbait with a number 8 blade, and I was working it real slow. The first morning I had a limit by 846 off 1 point. And the second day, it was just a lot slower. I don't really still know what went wrong, and now that I look back, maybe it wasn't wrong because it forced me into doing what I did today. And when the cloud cover came in tonight, I decided to stay in a clear water cove that I caught about 18 pounds in practice. But due to the clear water, I really didn't want to mess with it unless we had cloud cover, which we did today. So I went in there this morning. I started with the big full-ounce spinnerbait. I called a 615. I switched to the regular half-ounce Stanley spinnerbait with smaller blades, and I caught a 4 or something. I lost one about 4.5, and I caught about 8 other keepers in this one little area. So it all, basically just running those pre-spawn type spots, those little secondary points in the backs of the.
All right. Isn't that neat?
Right now, it's time for the Pros Pointer, the how-to section of the Bassmasters, brought to you by AC Delco.
Fishing one of these points, I like to fish up shallow. I like to put the boat in shallow water and throw out in deep water and work it up the ledge, where most people, when they fish, they set out in the creek to throw up on the point and work it back down. I like to be a little different than everybody. I think I catch more fish on this lake, so I'll throw it out there, right there on the ledge, and I strip off a lot of line. That way my bait falls straight to the bottom, where I want it to go. If you engage your reel, your bait will pendulum back, and you'll miss half the area that you want to fish. So I just throw it out there, and I let it go all the way at the bottom. You can either strip it off or just let it feed off your spool, and you feel it hit the bottom. Well, I start working it back up the ledge then. Where we're fishing in timber here, sometimes you'll throw over a tree limb you can't see. It's out there underwater. So when I feel it work up over a limb, just like I did then, I'll push my button and feed that line back to the bottom. That way I'm going straight back down again and we're being able to work my bait all the way, covering that whole area of the bottom, all the way back to the boat. Where if you engage your reel when you come over the line, over that limb, then your bait will come back halfway to the boat and never be on the bottom. So I'm working the whole bottom as I come back up that ledge.
With Bassmaster Chet Dowdy, a full-time touring pro and a guide who takes us fishing on his own home lake in Missouri, Truman Reservoir. And we're going to see how Chet puts together a summertime pattern that's a little bit different than you might expect. It's a great bass catching show.